The first time I saw the reflection, I thought it was a glitch in the hotel mirror, a trick of the cheap fluorescent lighting and my own exhaustion. I was a field adjuster for Great Plains Mutual, a job that took me to the forgotten corners of the Midwest. Chain motels, truck stop coffee, and the hollow silence of towns that had already peaked 30 years before I was born. My week was spent in a place called Wilmette, Iowa, a sad little grid of streets where the only sound after 9 p.m. was the hum of the highway. My motel, the Lamplighter Inn, was a relic. Brown shag carpet, a TV that got 4 channels, and a bathroom so small you had to sit sideways on the toilet. It was Tuesday, my second night. I was brushing my teeth, half asleep, when I glanced at the mirror over the sink. My own face stared back, tired, stubbled, unremarkable. But for a fraction of a second, at the very edge of my peripheral vision, I saw another shape. A silhouette over my shoulder standing in the doorway of the bathroom. I whipped my head around, toothpaste drooling down my chin. Nothing. The bathroom door was open, leading into the dark room. Just my jacket hanging on the hook, the faint glow of the parking lot light through the curtain. I turned back to the mirror, my face. Only my face. I blamed it on the road, the loneliness, the cheap burrito I'd eaten for dinner. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. The feeling wasn't that I had seen a ghost. It was that I had seen something familiar, something about the posture, the height, the way it stood. I didn't sleep well. The next morning, I tried to forget it. I drove out to a farmhouse outside of town to inspect a roof damaged by a derecho, a straight-line windstorm that had torn through the county 2 weeks prior. The homeowner was a man named Earl, a leather-skinned farmer in his 70s who walked with a limp. We stood in his den, a room filled with taxidermy and the smell of old dust. A massive buck head stared at me from the wall. "Wind took half my shingles," Earl said, pointing at a water stain on the ceiling. "But the real trouble's in the basement. Water got the subfloor. Gonna need a full pump-out." I took notes. I didn't want to go into his basement. It wasn't fear. It was the instinct to avoid confined, dark, damp places. I told him I'd do the exterior assessment first. He shrugged. The exterior was fine. The roof was a mess. As I was taking photos, my phone buzzed. A text from the office. A minor claim in the next county over was being escalated. Could I handle it today? I said yes, eager to leave Wilmette. I drove faster than I should have. The road was a 2-lane blacktop cutting through cornfields that seemed to go on forever. The sky was a flat, bruised gray. That night, back at the Lamplighter, I ordered a pizza and drank 2 bottles of beer. I tried to watch a game show on the television. I tried to read a paperback I'd bought at a gas station. But my eyes kept drifting to the bathroom door, which I'd left ajar. The mirror was a pale rectangle of light. Around 11, I gave up on sleep. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face. I did not look in the mirror. I kept my eyes on the sink. I dried my face with a rough towel and walked back to the bed, my back to the mirror. And then I heard it, not a sound exactly, a shift, a displacement of air, the whisper of fabric. I froze, one hand on the bedspread. The bathroom light was still on. I knew with a certainty that chilled my blood that if I turned around, I would see something in the doorway. I didn't turn. I walked to the bed, got in, pulled the covers up to my chin, and stared at the ceiling. I told myself it was my imagination. The pizza was greasy. The beer was cheap. I was a rational man with a job and a 401k. I did not believe in whatever that was. I fell asleep eventually. A deep, dreamless, exhausted sleep. I woke up in the dark. The bathroom light was off. I hadn't turned it off. My heart hammered. I lay perfectly still, listening. The air conditioner rattled, the highway hummed, and then from the bathroom came a sound that made every hair on my body stand up. It was a soft, wet sound, the sound of something being dragged across tile. Then a whisper, my name, not a threatening whisper, a familiar one. A sound like my own voice, but boxy and thin, as if it were being played back on an old cassette tape. "Michael." "Yes, my name is Michael." I didn't respond. I couldn't. My throat was locked. The bathroom door was open. I could see nothing but black. The darkness in that doorway was thicker than the darkness in the room. Then the reflection stepped out. I saw it in the mirror. The mirror was on the wall at the foot of the bed, across from the bathroom. A cheap, wooden-framed thing. And in it, I saw myself sitting up in bed, white as a sheet. And standing behind me, leaning over my shoulder, was a man. He was me. Not a perfect copy. He was older, gaunt. His hair was thin and wispy. His skin had a sallow, yellowed pallor. His eyes were the same color as mine, but they were sunken, full of a deep, weary resignation. He was wearing a cheap suit, stained and wrinkled. He looked like a version of me that had been through a war, a famine, a decade of sleepless nights. He was pointing at the bathroom door. I turned my head. The doorway was empty. I looked back at the mirror. He was still there. He was still pointing. And then, slowly, he dragged his finger across his own throat. I screamed. I threw the lamp at the mirror. It shattered, glass raining down onto the carpet. The power went out. The motel went dark. I ran. I didn't grab my bag, my phone, my keys. I just ran out the door across the gravel lot and stood under a streetlight, shaking, wearing nothing but my boxer shorts and a t-shirt. The motel manager, a fat man named Gary, came out with a flashlight. He found me shivering. I told him someone was in my room. He went inside, muttering. He came back out and told me the place was empty, but the mirror was broken, so I'd be charged for it. I told him I was checking out. I drove home that night, my car running on fumes. I never went back to Wilmot. I quit my job. I moved to a new city. I got a new apartment, a new phone, a new life, but the reflection is always there. I never have a broken mirror or a dark bathroom. I keep everything bright. I avoid reflections in windows at night. But sometimes in a stray piece of glass, the screen of a turned-off phone, the back of a spoon, I see him. The gaunt, yellowed version of me, and he's always pointing. Last week I was on a video call with my therapist. She was in her office, I was in my kitchen. We were talking about this, what she calls a psychotic break induced by stress. I was feeling good, strong. I told her I hadn't seen him in months. She smiled. Then her face went slack. She looked past the camera over my shoulder. "Who is that behind you?" she asked, her voice flat. I didn't turn around. I just stared at the screen. I watched her expression shift from confusion to fear. "Michael," she said, her voice trembling. "He's pointing at me." I hung up. I'm writing this from a motel in the middle of nowhere. I don't own a mirror. I don't own a phone with a camera. I have a burner laptop and a single light bulb, and I'm starting to understand. The reflection isn't a ghost. It's a message, a warning. It's not trying to scare me. It's trying to show me something. It's pointing at the door. I think I finally have to open it.